Obviously, you're pointing, though, toward Funny Side. So, will you track him, or is there some scenario by which you might just bolt to the lead and try and hold it?
Well, I mean, I could bolt to the lead. I don't anticipate it, but a lot of funny things happen. You saw War Emblem stumble last year, so I really don't know until the gates open. But I would really think, playing it out in my mind, it'll be similar to the Wood Memorial, in which Funny Side was a couple lengths in front of me, and I was just stalking him.
When we talked before the Derby, you felt that Empire Maker had Triple Crown potential. That can't happen, but this is a big one coming up. Would that sort of salve some of the wound from the Derby?
Well, it's better to get one rather than none of the three. But, you know, it's still a disappointment. Things didn't go our way in the Derby, but that's horse racing, and I've been through it a lot. I really do feel he's a good horse, and I think he's a better horse, but we still have to go around there and prove it.
5 weeks off now, no tune-up, gearing toward the Belmont. This could be an advantage for Empire Maker.
Well, he's rested. His foot's obviously better. Bobby Frankel can train a horse into a mile-and-a-half race off a layoff. I'm not worried about that. So I just think physically he's a better horse going into this race.
Both you and Bobby Frankel have been extremely respectful of Funny Side and what the horse has accomplished in the first two legs of the Triple Crown. But is it fair to say that you have a sense that you have the better horse, and today is a chance to prove it?
Well, I think we do. You know, I've always thought that, with all due respect to Funny Side. But this is horse racing, and in horse racing, you got to go out there and run around that track faster than everybody else just to prove your point.
And Chelsea, the Belmont Stakes has not been kind to Jerry Bailey.
No, it truly hasn't. He's based right here at Belmont, just like Jose Santos. He's won every title, every race possible. And he's the consummate rider, not to take anything away from him, but he is 1 for 17 in the Belmont Stakes. And that was with Hansel.
Well, Hansel was trained by Frankie Brothers. She is the husband of our former jockey, Donna Barton Brothers, and she's in the jockey's room where she's discussed strategy with some of the other riders. Donna?
Well, Tom, we've heard Jerry Bailey's strategy, but actually the two horses with the greatest power to influence the complexion of this race are Funny Side and Scrimshaw. I did speak with both of those riders earlier, the riders of those horses, Jose Santos and Gary Stevens. Jose Santos said he felt like he had to lay 1-2 in this race. As he pointed out, the last 3 Triple Crown winners, Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and Affirmed, all were never worse than second, and actually they did go wire to wire, but he just feels like he needs to lay close. Having said that, Gary Stevens feels like he has a chance to steal this race, just like he did the Derby with Winning Colors in 1988. He feels like if they overlook him and he gets to the lead in this race, that he has a chance to back the pace down and have a lot of horse when he turns for home. Now, having said all of that, you know, Jerry Bailey's going to be sitting right off of them, hoping for a good pace to set up in front of him. And I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But it's nice to know the strategy going in.
It is indeed. And Jerry Bailey on Empire Maker. We talked to Bobby Frankel, Empire Maker's trainer, earlier in the week. He was very confident. He's trained him much more aggressively for this race than he did for the Derby, where he disappointed and finished second. Empire Maker, second choice in the betting right now, behind the favorite, Funny Side. Welcome back to Belmont Park. Here's an update of the odds. Empire Maker 7-2, 10-1 Supervisor, 8-1 Scrimshaw, still 4-5 Funny Side, and 7-1 on the bottom two horses. While we were away, by the way, Bobby Frankel ran 1-2 in the Manhattan Handicap, and Jerry Bailey rode the winner, Denon. We were just talking about them before we went to break. That's the scene at Barn 6. That's the spar where Funny Side is inside. The guard now has increased. Even more guards in the yellow slickers guarding the entrance to Funny Side's barn. Before long, he'll be making his way toward the paddock here at Belmont Park. Last year when War Emblem went for the Triple Crown, the horse was owned by a Saudi prince, trained by Bob Baffert, who pulled up to his barn in style, in shades, and in a Jaguar. Well, this year with Funny Side, it's a whole different story.
Started this, we were just young kids without any bankroll and without many horses. Our first horse was a $200 horse. And we didn't want fame or fortune. We didn't want to have a Kentucky Derby winner. We wanted to have a farm that we could be proud of and that we could, you know, raise our kids on.
I've been broke several times, and sometimes you worry in the fall of the year, God, am I going to make it this year? My bills are so big, and then suddenly you sell a horse and you're able to pay the bills again.
There were a lot of times when I had the 2 kids in school and had 6 horses, and the lady'd send a van and take 5 of them away, you know, and that kind of stuff. when you're down to your last buck and the horse you're running on Thursday has to win or you're out of business, that's pressure.
It is Funny Side, and he's heading home back to Belmont for a date with Triple Crown Destiny.
This is a great horse for ordinary people, and it's just so gratifying because that's what we are, little people.
It gives a lot of hope to other people in the business that they can buy a horse for that kind of money, or they can raise one, because it takes the small guy to keep the thing going.
You know, you wait for a horse like this to come along. Sometimes you wonder if it ever will again, you know, but he did. In human terms, he'd be a guy that was tops in his class, went to the Naval Academy, was had a great demeanor about him, was a gentleman. You know, he's just that kind of a horse.
I think people are glad that there's something you can stand up and say, wow, this horse is all American. He's our boy. He's the kid next door who turned into a major leaguer. I can't imagine how there could be anything more of a fairy tale come true. It's the American dream.
There is an ironic connection between Funny Side and Affirmed, the last Triple Crown winner. Affirmed's jockey was the kid, 18-year-old Steve Cawthon. When Affirmed won the Belmont to complete the crown, Steve's younger brother Doug was in the crowd here at Belmont. Well, now Doug is president of WinStar Farm in Kentucky, where Funny Side was conceived. And Doug is with Kenny Rice.
Thanks, Tom. They called Steve the Kid back in 1978. You were 3 years younger. What'd they call you, little brother?
Big little brother, because I was a little bigger than he was.
What do you remember most about that 25 years ago and your brother was winning the Triple Crown with Affirmed, Doug?
Well, I mean, I thought he was bulletproof. You know, when you're young, everything's easy. And there've been a lot of Triple Crown horses at the time. Now we haven't had that, but you know, just the excitement and the drama of it, it's got a lot of the same feel we kind of feel now.
Well, you may be on the verge of being part of a Triple Crown yourself as the president of WinStar Farm. Help us out now. Kentucky is the home base for WinStar Farm. That's where the stallion Distorted Humor stands, the sire of Funny Side. But Funny Side is a New York bred.
Yeah, Funny Side was conceived in Kentucky, but we had a marketing plan to send some mares in foal to Distorted Humor to New York to foal, so they'd be eligible for the restricted state bred races. And, you know, never in our wildest dream would we have expected it to go so well. But we were just hoping to get Distorted Humor off to a great start. So we sent the mares to New York, and they were then New York breds.
Well, good luck today.
Thanks a lot.
Doug Cawthon. Another Cawthon may be part of a Triple Crown later today. We'll see, Tom.
All right, Kenny, and Doug's brother Steve, of course, went on to ride in England, and in a lot of ways he and Cash Asmussen revolutionized riding in Europe, making them much more aware of pace. Well, here's a look at the horses starting to make their way over. That's the long shot Supervisor. He's headed toward the paddock at Belmont Park for the 135th running of the Belmont Stakes. A few moments ago, the now horse Funny Side began his trek from barn 6 over to the paddock here at Belmont Park to be saddled by Barclay Tagg. He's 4-5. 30 odds-on horses have won. 30 odds-on horses have gone on in the Belmont to the post, and 12 of them have won. The last was Affirmed. Empire Maker is the second choice. There's Funny Side, 4-5 the last time we checked, and we'll be scrolling the odds along the bottom of the screen for you. So 30 have gone to the post in the Belmont as odds-on, and 12 of them have taken home the Triple Crown Belmont trophy. There's the entourage with Funny Side and the guards leading the way over.